Welcome, guys. It's the day before the start of the North America East semifinals, and we got a full schedule here for you. But we have a special guest tonight. Logan Ewing is joining us, and asked him to join today after some conversations following Mal's announcement yesterday that kind of talking, going back to the teen competition, and you weighed in on kind of your thoughts on it, and I wanted to kind of get your perspective. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Obviously, we were not the teen. We didn't compete in the teen competition, and so we're kind of weighing in, but you have firsthand experience, and so wanted to bring you on. So thanks for joining.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Yeah. So, what was your take? I mean, you competed alongside Haley. You were a teen athlete yourself. Obviously, we're not going to go into too much or speculation of why Mal isn't competing this year. But you have that firsthand experience. What are your thoughts on why? What your thoughts are on the teen competition?
Yeah, so as a teenager, I mean, I played other sports. Like I played baseball before I even considered CrossFit as a sport. Had some elbow injuries, so then I kind of dove into CrossFit. And I mean, my dad was pretty adamant that I still play something like a team sport, like regular high school sport. So I ended up going back and playing football again. And even then, I would say I still was all in on CrossFit, and I missed the games by one spot in 2017 and missed it by like 3 the year before that. So like it's kind of just this goal that I had that I just couldn't quite reach. My best friend that I trained with, he made it in 2017. And so it was just this goal, like I need to get to the games, because like in our minds, the way that the teenage division kind of came about was like as a pipeline for these athletes to go have something right before they head into elite competition, which other than the women's division, that has not been the case. And I would argue for the women's division, it's only been the case for a few athletes when you have, 10 to 20, depending on the year, that make it every year. And you've only seen 5 people do that, 5 women do that. You haven't seen any guys do it. So, I mean, it was just like this goal, like just to get to the games. And because it seemed like if you got to the games, like you were going to make it as an individual, in the near future. And I mean, that's why most people quit pretty fast after the teenage division initially, like especially the ones that I was around, even the ones before us, and then even the years after us. So my last year was in 2018. So I'm the same age as Haley. Been friends for a while. And yeah, it was like this goal. And once you get there, like it was not what you thought it was, like you get home from the games and it's like, that's it. Like I just spent all this time for that, and this is all I got out of it.
Yeah. Travis Mash says that. Travis Mash is, for those who don't know, like one of the best all-time powerlifters. And he said, and I think Ed Cohn said the same thing, that when they won like world championship or whatever the highest level at theirs was, they immediately were just like, oh, they want the next thing. So yeah, it's like that's common across that sort of thing. But it would suck to see as a teenager or someone who had been chasing an idea.
I talked with Rich quite a bit about it this morning, actually, and he was like, yeah, he's like, even for me, like when I won my championships, it's like, he's like, but it's different when you're an adult because you're able to handle that better. And when you're an adult, chances are you're doing it because you love it, not because of some goal you have, Mm-hmm. But when you're a teenager, like as messed up as it sounds and as bad as it sounds, like you're kind of chasing that like gratification of wearing that shirt with your name on it, being out on the floor. Cause like there is like a level of pride. Like I'm still proud that I made it, but when I look back on it, like I thought it would be this huge memory and like it would always forever. It's not that, unfortunately. It hasn't been that. Like I remember my sanctionals that I made when I was 18 more than I remember the games as a teenager, just because it was like, at that point, it's like you have to be enjoying this, and this has to be like what you truly love rather than just chasing this goal.
Yeah.
So you've pivoted your focus as you've continued to compete, because it doesn't seem like you've slowed down at all. You're getting better.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, like at first in the teenagers, get to the games. And then I'm not gonna lie, like the first 2 years out of the teenagers, like I took that same kind of mentality, and it's like, get to sanctionals, climb the leaderboard at sanctionals. And then obviously COVID derailed. And like, I didn't know what to do with myself during COVID. Like, and there was definitely like a residual effect of leaving the teenage division. Like, I don't want to call it like a depression, but you definitely lose like a self-worth. And I didn't have the 100,000 followers like especially the girls, like some of them have. So for me to go through that, like I can't imagine what it's like for them. And like it takes you down a path that you don't necessarily want to go down. And it hurts like to see your name not in the top 10 of a leaderboard, because you're so used to that and you put so much worth into that as a teenager. And then to see your name in, I don't know what I got in my first open as an elite, maybe like 600th. It's like, bro, what a joke.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing with myself? And people just can't handle that. And I mean, sad enough, like most of the guys that I competed with at the games, they quit within a year to 18 months. And even worse is you see some of these teenagers from 2015 was a start till, call it my year, call it 2018. So those first 3 years, unfortunately, a lot of them now have like a really tough relationship with fitness, to where a lot of them aren't working out. They're not healthy anymore. So not only are they not competing, but they're not doing the core principles of CrossFit, which is just to stay healthy.
Yeah, that was one of my things that you see in the comments. It's like, well, all these other sports have burnout, and they're playing, any of the football, baseball, etc. throughout high school, maybe even college, but they don't play it anymore. They're burned out. But I look at CrossFit and like, yes, there's a sport to it, but we all think of CrossFit more as the methodology, right? Like we enjoy seeing who's the fittest, but you would think that if you're getting into CrossFit and competing, you love it enough that you're going to continue on when you're done, on a competitive side. And that's not what we're seeing.
Oh, yeah.
The intent was never the competition. It was the health.
Exactly. I think from experience with baseball, football, CrossFit, the burnout in CrossFit is much worse, because when you're training for baseball, football, whatever it is, one of those regular sports, not only are you with your peers, so you're with kids your own age, and there's something to that. Like that makes it so much more enjoyable. Like you actually look forward to it because you're going to be with your friends and stuff. So that's a big thing. But then number two is the way you practice is very different than playing. So like in baseball, for me, like I'm in the batting cage, hitting off the tee, hitting off slow pitch, whatever it is. It doesn't feel to me like I'm competing. It doesn't feel to me like I'm in the game. It's just practice and practice. And I'm not beating myself up in practice. Same with football when you're doing drills and stuff. But you get to CrossFit, the way you train is not really any different than the way you compete. In terms of the workouts are very similar. It's the same movements. You're doing it for time, or you're doing it for load, whatever it is. So it's super repetitive. And so it's hard to distinguish between training and competing. And I think if you get into the sport because you love competing, your lifespan's gonna be really short. But if you get into the sport because you enjoy training, it can last a long time, which luckily for me, I eventually learned, like, I really shifted away from wanting to compete to wanting to train, and then let the competition be like the display of my training rather than I'm training to do better in competition. Now it's like I'm training because I want to be the best that I can be and see what that does on the floor. And truth be told, like I could go a long time without stepping on the floor and not feel like an emptiness. But if I go more than like 3 days without training, I'm like, man, I really miss it.
Yeah. So what do you say about the people who have commented that, hey, look, it's only a handful of people who have, at the top who've dropped out. There's still plenty of other athletes who don't qualify for the games that continue on doing this. I don't think we have as much visibility into that. Should we, stop the competition and say, maybe CrossFit doesn't do a teen division anymore for the sake of that? I mean, I guess should we be helping those or what is the solution for that?
So first off, pretty much everybody that's transitioned out of the teenagers, like I don't want to speak for everybody, but I was saying before we went live, like I've had over 40 athletes that were former teenagers reach out and say like, yeah, get rid of the division. Like it beat us up. Like truth be told, like we're all, early 20s, but our bodies are beat up. Like we're going to have much, much shorter careers than other people just because of the toll that we took at 15 years old, So I think, in my opinion, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's the best idea to have the competition because obviously they're not chasing a paycheck, but they're still trying to win. And as long as you allow the competition, people are going to train ridiculous just for that glory of winning it as a teen, which the sad part is you talk to anybody that's won it as a teen, that goes away so fast. So they're going to burn themselves out. They're going to destroy their body. They're going to destroy their hormones, all that just to try to win the teenage games and then end up not even making it to the division that they wanted to make it to initially. So in my opinion, like it wouldn't be the worst thing if they did away with it because I truly believe like a 14, 15, 16, really 17 for the guys, especially year old, they shouldn't be training that way. They shouldn't be pushing themselves like that because the toll it takes on your mental health, the toll it takes on your body, your hormones, like all that. I don't see it worth it. Like we're becoming like gymnastics where it's like you have this window of your late teens and early 20s to really like strive. And then once that's gone, it's gone. Like you don't see gymnasts that are 25.
Mm-hmm. Not as bending.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Yeah. Do you coach, Logan?
I did coach for 3 years.
Yeah.
Not once I moved to Cookeville.
Okay. Full-time athlete. Well, let me, maybe this is a learning curve. I mean, they didn't know for years that maybe there should you have to ask about the progression of the size of a baseball field. Like, when you're in the minor leagues, as far as like when you're a little kid coming up through all the rec league stuff. And it's like the field does get bigger. So at some point they decided, hey, we need to make the field smaller, stuff like that. And that lesson might've been hard learned. And maybe we're going through that now where we're learning a lesson in like, hey, so if you were coaching an athlete, like it makes me want to talk to Olivia Kerstetter and Hepner and be like, hey, if you're seeing this, what are you thinking about as a coach to like maybe mitigate some of these issues? Is there anything that comes to mind for you that it's like, hey, maybe I impose limits on volume more than I would have when I was 15, stuff like that.
Yeah. The volume in terms of CrossFit, especially like regular Metcons, I would limit that. Definitely. I mean, you're not going to get the effects necessarily if like the bad effects, if you teach them how to lift and have them lift often and lift with really good technique. So I would focus on that. A lot of accessory lifting, like really just honestly building a base. So then when they are developed, they can like go full in on it. But the inside the gym stuff is, it's important like in terms of limits and what I would focus on. But what I would mostly focus on would be outside of the gym stuff. Like it's unfortunate. And I talked to, one of the competitors that's going this year also as a 16, 17-year-old. And he's like, yeah, dude, like it's getting to the point where pretty much everybody's homeschooled. And even when I was in there, like most of them were homeschooled. There were a lot of people homeschooled and you can kind of tell like they don't interact as well, I guess. Not speaking to all of them, but there's definitely a lot that it's like, yeah, like you can tell like they didn't play necessarily regular sports, like they weren't around teenagers. But I would be like, hey, you need to go to school. You need to play a real sport, like a team sport, and go be a kid. Like I've talked to Haley, I've talked to lots of other athletes, and it's like missing prom or whatever it is, like doesn't seem like a big deal then, because you think like when you're 17, you think that by the time you're 22, you're going to have a gold medal as an elite. But it's like when you realize like those are big moments that you're missing out on. Like they aren't going on dates. They aren't getting a girlfriend, getting a boyfriend, like whatever it is. They're missing these big milestones in the name of being a little bit fitter. And it's like, it's not worth it. Like every football player that I grew up with that went D1, they still went to prom. They still did all these things, and they're still playing football.
Right.
Yeah. Barry McCockner. This is why Glassman is about the methodology and training. The games he was not as passionate about, and I can see why, because of the crazy amount of volume. I don't think it's healthy.
Logan, do you think there should be an age cutoff line then? Like you have to be 18 before you are allowed to even do the games? Like they'd have a teenage division, but as far as the open division goes, have like an 18.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt, you know.
I'm just saying the teen division is not looked at as highly as the open division. You know what I mean? People wouldn't be killing themselves as bad as they are now.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, because you didn't see this type of thing before the teenage division. Like you see the people that were teenagers when they started, like the Panchek twins, but they didn't have a teenage division. So they weren't killing themselves at 15, 16. Like they were training, but they weren't killing themselves. And there's a huge difference when you know that it's going to take, if you're 14, when you know it's 4 years before you can even compete, you're going to take it so much slower. You're going to have much better technique, and it's going to be a lot easier to say yes to the things outside the gym. Like you're not going to be like, no, dude, like the games is in 2 months. I can't go to prom. Why would I go to prom? Like, no, you'd be like, yeah, like, you know, and I've got 4 years. Like I might as well go to prom.
Yeah. So you think they should just do away with it?
Based off of why they formed the teenage division, yes, because they formed it to be that pipeline, and it hasn't been. And there's been the cons outweigh the pros by 1,000,000 to 1 right now. And this is coming from talking to 40 athletes. And it took me a while to like kind of come to that realization, because initially I was like, they need to have an 18 to 19 division. So then these people will transition even better. But then it's like, that's just another 2 years of prolonging this. It's like, so what are we doing here? Like, what's the purpose? Like with the Masters, I get it, because you're showcasing longevity.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree with you about the pipeline thing for sure. I used to think that the guys just didn't develop as quick as the girls did, but it seems like the emotional toll takes a big hit for the girls especially, and then the guys that jump is so significant that I can see how it can get into people's heads.
We're just too dumb. What I would say this, because playing devil's advocate, they're not going to service an entire community of people who want to be serviced, right? Like look at, like, I love that we have the adaptive divisions, but that like that's a lot of work for not a lot of bang for your buck, right? And I think we get more return out of the teens, right? But so if we just drop them, somebody's going to pick that up. That no one's just going to let all of those teens alone. That they'll open to. But what you could do is you could open the teens up to, you can be on the teams.
Yeah.
Right. You get to train with other people. It's a totally, like, you don't have to train as hard all the time. Like, I think you still have to train hard, but there's a lot more leniency in that. And it exposes you to other people. You don't get in these weird head spaces. I think that could be a good middle ground. And also the off season's a lot easier on teams, right? You have a better off season when you're on a team.
It'd be more like a sport that way for sure, because you'd be working with your team.
Yeah. And I mean, there's something to be said too. Like you need to be in an affiliate, like around people. Like I am so grateful. Like I would do a class workout every day as a teenager. So like it exposed me to these great people. They were all adults. And so I matured really quick that way. But it's like there's also that aspect that, yeah, it's cool to be around adults, but you also want to be around your own people. Like when you're 15 and all you do is hang out with adults, by the time you're 22, you're going to be like, man, I really missed out. Like, and you can't get those years back. Like even something as simple as like going out on a Friday night and just, I don't know, TPing your friend's house, like something like that, something so stupid and small like that. When you're 25 and you're like, not even 25, it's like 21 that people are realizing this. And it's like, dude, like I really missed out and I can't get it back now. Like that period of my life came and went and I didn't get to do any of it. And I think that's the main thing that I've kind of discussed with people is like, they wish they could have that back because now they're like, yeah, I'm in the real world now and I didn't get to do the fun things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of it is we're living through it right now. We didn't know what the impacts are.
Yeah.
And, I think some people are saying, well, the teen athletes like this, right? Like they would disagree. They don't want the competition to go out. But my response is that is true until they don't. And
I mean,
it could hit like a light switch and next thing you know, you've had 2, maybe 3 plus just this year who have stepped away, most potentially because of the toll that it takes to compete at this level for years and years and years at that age.
Yeah, if you would have told me 5 years ago, right before I went to the games, that you don't think the teenage division was a good idea, I'd be like, you're an idiot. But then if you would have asked me 2 years later, I would have heard you out because I was experiencing a lot of it. And I very purposely made sure not to dedicate everything as a teenager. Like I still went to prom, had a girlfriend who's now my fiance, like all these different things like that we made sure that I was still doing. I never was allowed to count macros then because it was like, it's just going to burn you out. You're just going to hate it. So like all these different things that we put in place to try to mitigate that. And it's still going to happen.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I appreciate you jumping on, Logan. Good luck heading out to Pasadena next weekend.
Thank you.
North America West. So, I think this is something that will continue to be discussed, and I appreciate you bringing your perspective on. So,
yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Logan.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
All right.
I think Kenneth asked a good question about how many teen athletes there are just in the 16 to 17-year-old divisions, male and female. There's over 35,000. So it's not a small amount.
And yeah, I mean, one thing to think about, I think Halpin may have done it and calculated it. The teen division was the only division to shrink year over year. So the Open grew from last year. All the Masters did. I don't know if it was both team divisions or just kind of in together, but they were the only ones that shrunk. And not sure what that is, why, but it is kind of interesting given what's happening. So, all right. First, our next topic. So news came out.
Give me a minute.
You're bugging Sarah, man.
I don't know why my computer is having problems. It did this on Sevon too. It says my microphone's connected and it's not. So I don't know what to do.
Hey, at least
have to ship you some stuff.
At least you've kept your dog quiet. So we're one for
because you couldn't hear it. It was muted.
I saw him. He was talking in the thread earlier.
Yeah.
He said you hit him last week.
Travis, those teens can probably win more money at local regional comps versus the games. I'd like to see an 18 plus requirement for the games. They're putting a lot of pressure. And I think somebody brought up a comment on Savon's podcast a day or two ago about the women. They're probably less in football and basketball and, baseball or softball. And so this is their sport, right? And it's very similar to gymnastics. There's a lot of pressure. You're seeing, again, 16, 17, 18-year-olds have a chance at qualifying for the games on the men's side, you don't really see any of those teen guys do it. And then you see them drop off after 17 and maybe they come back a year or two later. All right. So there we go.
Yeah, they are.
We go.
Yeah.
I want to make one more comment
Hey,
about this
stop.
before we leave it. Is we don't know. Like, I think it's funny. I just think it's funny how we actually don't know what's going on with Mallory, and that this whole conversation has like taken off, and it could be something not even related to what we're talking about. I just think that's worth
she's
remarking.
pregnant. Is that what you're saying?
Could be, man. I didn't say that, but
I didn't say it, Mal. He did.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe something comes out. I've thought about Haley and, seeing that again. Like, if she doesn't come back, I don't think it's the end of the world, right? Like, if she's happy or not competing, so be it. And if she does, great, but it feels like we have this pressure on these athletes to continue to keep doing it, right? If they were,
I think more on the women than the men too, just because they have more followers, more sponsors, more. It just seems like more people to let down, and they've been more successful. The teen women have.
Yeah. I mean, if you're making it to the games, then you just say, well, I don't feel like doing it anymore. Everybody's going to question what's going on. And if you have hundreds of thousands of followers, it's tough to let those followers down, saying, I'm going to go do something else, and I'm out. So
that is funny because like that's what Nick Palladino did, and that was a different era, so to speak. But he was just like, "See ya." And say that Mallory was stepping away due to mental health reasons or something like that. Like, it would be really interesting to know that. And we haven't seen that with the guys, and so I know a lot of girls that I went to high school with. They were just more intense. They were more mature than we were at 18, and it's like I made that joke earlier. It's like we're too dumb to get it at the time. We're too dumb to take it too seriously, to let it damage us like that.
Yeah, I mean, but even Dallin jumped into comments and said that he had a tough time in 2020. And I invited him on. He's obviously getting ready for semifinals, so he wasn't able to join this evening. But
he's not training. He's resting. You could have came on, Dallin. Don't. That's a cop out excuse. Just say you don't want to.
God.
But I mean, he said 2020 was a tough year for him. It just happened to be COVID, so it kind of kept him out of the spotlight there.
Yeah.
And I remember him coming out of the teen division thinking, he's one of the top guys to have a chance at bridging that. And it took him a few years, and he stuck with it. And, but don't know all the specifics behind it. But yeah, it's not easy. You would think, oh, he's back at the games. He's probably had just worked hard and had no issues. But
how old is Dallin?
12.
22 now.
So I'd wonder. I'd like to talk to Sam Quant because he was 19 when he first made the games. I know nobody talks about him, but he made the games and was like top 20 at 19. He didn't have the pressure everybody else put on. We do now, but he's been probably the most successful young guy that we have had, and we never talk about him, and he seems to handle everything great. And I know he just lives by himself with his family. Ben kind of grew with the sport though. Look, it's not.
I agree.
Taking it seriously, you know what I mean? Like Sam.
Yeah, like we didn't train that much back then. Yeah, but at the same time, we sort of. It was still like we're at a whole different level now. Everybody trains 2 or 3 a days. Back then it was like we were just starting to do 2 a days. Everybody,
Right.
The top people were starting to do 2 a days. I remember back then there were athletes going to the games that just did 1 sessions, like single long misfit sessions, stuff like that.
Fraser.
And so, yeah. But I get your point. Ben Smith, I would like to talk to Alexis Raptis about this because she's the same thing. But she seems to be going in stride, but she's on the come up too. So,
yeah.
I think the hype hurts people. That's why like Jason Hopper is old enough that like it's fine. He kind of needed a humbling, right? And he could handle it and he come back stronger. But like I feel like so many people put Mal on this pedestal like way too early. And I think that hurts her. You know what I mean? Because she feels like she lets all these people down, or like it's so much pressure for her to perform. And then Tia's not there. She's expected to win. Like that's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everything was going towards it, right? I mean, sitting out rogue, being on training cycles. Everything was solely focused one goal in 12 months. Right. And so, yeah, I mean, it could be that, but it just goes to show that the level of focus and dedication that it requires to be at that level is a lot. And it's tough for somebody who's
well, it's not easy to be the fittest person in the world.
Right.
You know,
right.
That's what you're trying to do. I mean, put it into perspective.
Yeah. All right. Shifting topics. Story came out this week. Daniela Hodges, Masters athlete in the 50-54 division, received a 4-year sanction, not for testing positive, but for not taking a drug test. Spoke with her on Instagram messages. Sounds like she did the same with Hiller. Her story is that she was with her family on a vacation, didn't have her phone on her, didn't check it, didn't see the email, and missed the window to take a drug test. So off-season drug testing, who should be drug tested? Tyler?
What part of the season did she get tested after?
So
was she supposed to be tested after?
She got tested on, supposed to be tested on March 19th. So it was in between the Open and the age group quarterfinals.
And did she know this was coming?
No one knows that. It'd be like testing me.
My understanding is that that they tried to contact her. I think March 19th was on a Saturday or Sunday. And so, what the drug policy says is that, if somebody, they can reach you via phone, email, text, and you have a certain amount of time. It's not stated 24 hours or anything like that. It's kind of reasonableness that, you have to respond and set up a time to take a drug test. And so I don't know all the specifics of when she saw it. Did she contact him? All of those details, but at some point, some time elapsed and it was determined to be too long, and CrossFit then handed out a sanction for it.
I have a hard time believing that if they reach out and they don't hear from you, that you get banned for 4 years from that. Like maybe you got a different number. Maybe you got a different email. Like I feel like there had to be some kind of contact, and then she missed the deadline.
And that's what you want. That's because that makes sense. But I mean, all we know is that CrossFit was straight up about this.
But then she can appeal this, and this will get appealed. She can get appealed this, and this will get reversed if that's the case.
Yeah, but if it's in the contract you signed during the Open, which is I want to
participate in the
Open. Hey,
it is. Yeah. So when you enter the Open, it says
anytime.
Yeah.
Go ahead. But you don't respond at all. Like there's never any. Oh, hey, for sure. Let's try. Hit me up in 24 hours or something. Like there's if you don't respond at all in any way, like there's never been any contact made. They could have just had the wrong information. You get banned for 4 years.
Potentially.
Yeah, maybe.
Sounds like it.
I have a hard time believing that.
It sounds like she got an email, so it was most likely from, the email you registered through CrossFit. I don't think you signed up with your phone number. So,
Which
would've been
that's
through
the
her
first
email.
problem. Email is the worst way to get a hold of someone, period.
Yeah.
My brain immediately says, like, why this part of the season? Like, there are people on the leaderboard who aren't even real, and you want to drug test this person? So it's obviously you've gotten like a hint, or you're just going after this lady because you think she's on drugs. Because, I mean, she's done bodybuilding in the past, and she looks shredded. So okay, let's go after her. But like, okay, you hit her up by email, which is bad. You don't do the due diligence to getting her connected in another way. And like, even if she tests positive, she's not really hurting anybody by doing this in the open. I'm sorry. And then, like, why would you ban her for 4 years? You're going to go into quarterfinals. Like, just say you can't compete in quarterfinals until we get this figured out. Like, why would you
Or
immediately
you have
go
to
from
take a
0 to
drug test
100?
before quarterfinals.
Yeah.
I feel like you should get like a week to respond. You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah. What I had somebody reach out to me after seeing this and said that they believe that somebody has contacted CrossFit.
Hey, no.
There are anonymous ways to contact CrossFit and say that if you believe somebody is using illegal substances, and they can do that. And so I don't have any verification, no proof of that, but that's what somebody had said, is that there had been reports, and that makes sense why she would have been selected if somebody had, gone to that anonymous tip line and given her name. I guess we want more testing. We want to make sure that the sport is clean. How do you balance that with, somebody who's never been to semifinals before in the 50 to 54 division? She's getting drug tested, yet as far as I know, nobody in the 35 to 39 has been. How do you balance that? And it's also, I mean, it's a costly thing to do too, John.
I mean, if CrossFit gets a tip that somebody's using stuff, I think they should test that person. I think that's fine. I don't care if she looks like she probably could make it. Like if somebody tipped and said Tyler's using whatever Enduroball to the gills, they would probably say he needs some more because he didn't do very good. Okay. But if she did very good and and somebody's saying, hey, she's on stuff, I have no problem with them testing that person. As far as who should be tested, the top 10, like at any time in the year, the top 10 can be tested at any time. I think that's fair. But I think there is a lot of people using stuff that are trying to break in to the top, right? And I think you could just throw I think you could just put your fingers some random spot on the piece of paper of those people, and like not 9 times out of 10, but you'll probably find a lot of people that would have tested.
90% of people are on drugs.
No, not 9 times out of 10. But I guarantee there's a lot of people in that area that probably are. But ultimately, like, I don't think you should focus on testing those people. I think when you just get a tip, then test that person. It's that person's job to know that they're going to test you. It's I have a hard time feeling, she just didn't see anything, and then that's why she didn't, and that's why she's banned for 4 years. I have a really, really hard time with that. If that's the case, then like CrossFit headquarters, then people should talk to CrossFit headquarters or whatever. But I don't think that's the case. Whatever she's feeding y'all, like, I just have a hard time thinking that's what happened.
Maybe you're right, John.
She should take a drug test right now and show that it's negative. That's what I would do if I was her. I'd be like, you know what I mean?
What she said is she did offer, like, hey, I'll take it. When she did find out and talk to CrossFit.
Find a place and take it.
Appeal.
Don't just say, hey, I'll take it. Like, go all out.
Do it.
Blast them online.
Yeah, because I would make them compensate me back. I hear you, John. But I tend to with these things, I'm just like, okay, let's assume all the information we have is correct. Like I see the more of the system problem than I see this one-off problem. I don't really care. Like I feel bad for this lady, but it's like the setup is bad. Like, why would you ban someone for doing drugs in the open? No one cares unless they get first.
Season, Tyler.
Who cares?
If they test you, I agree. I feel that way you feel about testing people. Mm-hmm. But if they test you, it is part of the season.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be on drugs. I don't know what to tell you.
You hear that, folks?
Yeah. I mean,
from John, don't do drugs.
And speaking of off-season testing, I mean, you see 5 of the 6 podium finishers from last year have been tested in 2023. I did find out that Tia was tested back in November. So that was, right before I think she announced her pregnancy. Yeah. But you see, I mean, all the top athletes, or most of the top athletes right here, have been tested this year in an off season. Don't know when, don't know all the circumstances, but they are, at least the top athletes are getting tested. So, I guess, is CrossFit doing enough though for the drug testing? Do we want to see more?
I don't know. I would like to know. Basically, I want to know that everybody in the top 40, like everybody that went to the games, was tested. Like, I would feel good then.
I agree with that.
Maybe top 10 do blood test. Go ahead.
I just agree. Everybody that goes to the games as an individual should be tested, 100%. Yeah. Semifinals, if they had the resources, everybody at semifinals should be tested. But I get it if they don't have the resources. But then I think at least the top 20 in semifinals, the big ones. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna let my dog out.
And that's my thing. That's my thing is that, like, this is. Let's look at it from a budgetary issue. Like, this is going to be really expensive. Testing all of the people who are at the games, super expensive. But
they do it to qualify at semifinals. If you qualify, you get tested. If you qualify, you do get tested.
And that's my thing. So it's like, until we know and have that covered, like, let's not even talk about anything else. And then, like, let's work our way down to the quarterfinals or whatever the next level down is. There is nothing you could tell me to make me believe that we have the cash to fund testing people in the open at this point. I'm sorry. I don't even care if she was doing drugs or not. I really don't.
He's hung up on that, but I don't think they do a lot of that. I literally think it's just because somebody said she was on stuff. I think that's a case-by-case thing. I don't think they're just picking random people and testing them in the open.
Yeah.
I'll play devil's advocate against myself. She could have thought all the thoughts that we were thinking right now and been like, the community will get behind me and that I'm doing the right if I just step out, even if she was on drugs. Like, she's going to be like, they're testing me in the open? That's crazy. The community will get behind me, and I'll ride out on my chariot.
I don't know.
So maybe she was doing drugs.
I think that's
my point. That's my point. If she wasn't, I think she'd be way more like blasting this and doing everything she can. I don't know.
I think they should have done it during
with this stuff.
They should have done it while she was a weekend of competing, right? Like.
Yeah.
If they know she's part of an affiliate and she's going to be on her phone because she's going to be submitting scores, do it then. It was 2 weeks later.
I don't know. She might have been trying to catch her off guard. People can get around these things.
Well, they would have caught her off guard if they would have called her on or emailed her, the week of quarterfinals. She's on her phone that weekend. You have to submit your scores. I mean, so.
That's another thing. Communication should be through your athlete portal on the free.
Tyler, you're freezing up, man.
Games.
I'm getting nothing, Tyler.
Nothing. While Tyler figures that out, CrossFit scoring tables were revealed earlier this week. I want to get Tyler's thoughts if he can ever unfreeze himself. But any thoughts from you, John, on let's see. Let's kick. I don't know what's going on here. You got two Tylers. There you go.
There he is.
My back.
You're back. So we shifted to the scoring tables, Tyler. John, do you have any initial thoughts, or do you want to pass it off to the Z-score expert?
My initial thought is I think 4 and 5 are 100-point table, are 100 points, because we would have seen a 50-point table if that was a part of it. So I think everything is worth 100 points. And that's all I got. Go ahead, Tyler. I'll be back.
The only thing I noted, it's more due to the field. I think I sent this in the text thread. It's due to the field. Like, there's just so many people. There's not much spread you can get between one person and the next. But outliers pulling away from the group won't be rewarded. But I mean, the more people in the test, the better. That's how I feel about it. And so there's not really any other way to do this on a 100-point scale. That's not kind of weird.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It does take away the home run of like they used to have, where the first 3 or 4 spots were 5 points or 6 points difference, where you could really make up some ground. This one, for the most part, it's pretty evenly spaced for those that are going to be fighting for a spot to the games.
Yep. It's 3 points at the top, and down at the bottom it's 1. And it's like, okay, you do get a little bit for being a winner, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did notice that it's kind of a 3-point gap down to 12th for North America East, where the men 12 athletes go, and then it starts shortly after that go down to a 2-point gap. I'm kind of thinking there might be a lot of bunching up of the points in that 13th to 20th spot because of this. And it could be a really exciting final event if there are 8 athletes that all have a chance to make it in there in that final workout. So
yeah, I agree.
I agree.
The last workout is how bad do you want it? If you can do 3 sets of 20 toes bar unbroken, how fast do you want to go on the bike? That's literally all it is, which will make, I think, a very good finale.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Won't really talk about it, but the prize money is out there. That was kind of quietly put out by CrossFit, published an article. So if you guys are interested, go to thebarbellspin.com. You can see the prize money that's there. The winner now takes home $315,000, $5,000 more than last year. So slight increase on the prize money, but not too much.
I need that 2010 to 2011 increase. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That was, well, when you have Reebok come in versus CrossFit funding it, that makes a big difference.
Right.
You mean Panda Express?
Yeah. All right. So let's go through. Last time we talked, we didn't have all of the events out. Let's kind of go through, give everybody an idea on the individual side on North America. Let's go event by event. Take a look at maybe who we think to watch out for. So as we watch these events, starting on Friday for North American individuals, who to kind of keep an eye on if you think anybody's going to really struggle, kind of things to watch out for. So event 1, the machine test, which I guess I can say that on 5 of the 7 workouts this time. So John, on the women's side, is there anybody that you really think is going to really perform well on this type of workout that's really machine driven?
Come back to me.
Pass. Tyler.
I did some research while we were waiting to start the show up. The Texas Trail and the Capitol sort of come to mind on this. They're grunt worky, they're long. It is very different because it's not just run focused. So you kind of have to dig deep before you see an American woman. Brooke Wells comes to mind. The person I probably like for this is
I got my pick.
man.
I got my pick. If you want me to say it before Tyler,
Go.
I'm gonna say Amanda Barnhart. I'm just kidding. I think Danielle Brandon's gonna win this.
I think Emma Lawson's going to win it.
So I did the same thing. I looked at the Capitol. I also looked at last year's Granite Games. There was a long workout that had quite a bit of running in it. I think running will be one of the places where the athletes can separate. I think the Echo Bike, everybody's going to get off within 10, 15 seconds of each other. It's not going to be a big deal. Ski erg, unless somebody just goes crazy again, I don't think it's going to be a huge difference. The person that kind of stood out to me that I didn't think, and surprisingly, it was Amanda Barnhart. She's done well in the Capitol. She did well. I think it was in one of the different workouts. Maybe in the Granite Games. I can't remember. But I think Danielle Brandon, you have Emma Lawson. So, but I think Amanda Barnhart is one to keep an eye on that maybe people aren't thinking of in this type of workout.
Yeah, I like the Emma Lawson pick, Tyler. I think the pool. I'm picking Danielle Brandon for the sled pool. I just think that will come into play more. I don't think it would be there if it was easy. So
no,
I'm picking Danielle Brandon for that reason.
Of people I want to, Danielle's probably I think the best pick for this. And then I go back and forth on Amanda versus Emma. Emma's done things I think that are a little bit more stable. Like she's shown across multiple machines. I think she's better. Now the grunt worky part of that pull, Amanda's a better pick. She's got more mass. I think she can pull better probably. So we'll see.
Alexis Raptis, Tyler, the resident Alexis Raptis expert.
I think Alexis is a good pick, but
nope.
I don't think she's as safe as the others.
Yeah.
So
the one that's on the opposite end of the spectrum that I am a little worried about is Paige Powers.
Yeah,
she has historically struggled with longer events. She's
a machine powerhouse, though.
She was 37th in the Capitol, which was a little surprising.
She's not a good runner.
There's got a 1.25 mile run right there in the middle. So
I know, but I think she's going to be one of the better ones on the ski and one of the better ones on the pool. Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
It was tough finding another event in the past that kind of lined up with this, but the Capitol did require a power output on the front and back end, and with a longer run in there. She did great at Wodapalooza where there wasn't those longer type events, but this is the one where I think that she could be seen lower down the leaderboard unless she's, unless she's worked on that over the off season.
Sure.
I don't think it puts her out of contention by any stretch, but I don't think you're going to see her in the top 10 or 20 in this one. On the men, is anybody beating Roman?
Nope.
Jason could give him a run for his money.
Nope.
You still no hope for Jason.
You think my mind changed?
Zero. like 4-1 odds. Good.
He's flabbergasted.
No chance. I'm saying it's 50-50.
I think it's not. I think it's 70-30. I think Jason will get a second. I think Jason will be comfortably second, and I think Roman will beat him by 10 seconds. Like they'll be very close, but Roman will convincingly be first. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see.
And then the next person will be 40 seconds later.
John, when
Jeff Adler.
when you were on Savon's podcast, you had brought up the prize money, and if it's immaterial, does it even matter if you're in the top 5, right? Like, do you really care if you're 4th or 3rd, right? 10,000 prize versus 7,000 for 1st versus 2nd. Is it enough to kill yourself on this workout trying to win an extra, take 1st, or do you just, you're comfortably in 5th place? Do you push yourself day 1, workout 1 to the max, even though you're going to be a top 5 athlete like Roman or Hopper?
Yeah, I mean, I think on this first one you do, just because it's the first event. I think it's very easy to go all out. I think the only events where that would be kind of a thing would be the last day when you're safe. You don't know you're safe before event 1. You know what I mean? You want to win those. And this is I don't know. I really hope Jason and Roman go at it and it's this epic battle. I think that would be amazing. And if Jason were to beat Roman,
think that's going to happen.
I think it would be so awesome. I know, because I could see Jason kind of peacocking the way he does, and Roman. It's probably the first time Roman's ever been beaten on a machine event. So yeah, I really hope it's an epic battle though. But I think Roman's just going to get a lead on the ski. I think Roman's a lot better skier than Jason. The other two are comparable. The other two machines. The pull, they should be equal. No, I mean, I think on the first event, they'll both go as hard as they can. I think everybody will until the last day. Last day is where you can make some decisions on if you want to coast in or not. I'll be back, Tyler.
Yeah, I disagree. There's no way, unless I know I can win this event, there's no way I want to come out like I'm going to try to win it and burn my. This is such a long workout, and you're going to feel this the entire weekend. If I'm in top 5, and I know the purchase to get to 1st is a big one, I'm not going for it because of the cost. There's no way.
This is not that long of a workout. It's like 20 minutes.
It's all right. It's the longest workout of the weekend.
I know 20 minutes, 25 minutes is the super long workout. It's not the capital. All of it's machines.
And
there's no
if you screw up at the front end, all right. If you screw up at the front end, you're burning out.
It's just a cardio workout, man.
I'm just saying, if they both get to the ski erg, right? If Jason and Roman get to the ski erg at the same time,
wins easy.
And they know, and they can see the hand over hand pull before that, and everybody's way behind them, right? Like they're just now starting the pull.
Oh, that's a personal battle, then, Brian. I mean, come on now.
Do they though?
Yeah, they know they're the guys. They know. Like that's
John, do you have an assault?
Who's who in the zoo. Go ahead.
Do you have an assault runner?
I've ran on them before.
Do you have one? You have access to one?
No.
Never mind.
Why? You want me to do the workout?
I was gonna say, well, we bet on it, and I was like, whoever, I'll do it. I'd do it just to see how we feel after.
I think I could beat you on the pool.
Yeah,
I think it'd be close, but I think I'd get you on the pool. I did do workout 2 though. If we want to talk about workout 2.
Yeah, real quick. Jeff Adler, dark horse. I think he's just the Mr. Consistency. I mean, I don't see him winning anything.
He's not a dark horse. He's just a horse.
I could see him going through this whole weekend and not winning an event, but finishing top 5 every single time.
Yep.
I mean, I think he'll win something, but
yeah, he's gonna win.
I guess Griffin's here, so he can't win the snatch. I mean, that might be a good call. He might just get like 6 third places.
Yeah.
Stop it.
All right. Workout 2, John. You did this one. Wore the ruck. Tyler, you tried it with a weight vest, I think.
I just did the ring complex. I just wanted to do it with. I just wanted to try it out, see if I could go unbroken. No, I just did the first 5 to feel like, try to get an idea what the rest of it was going to feel like.
And
man, it's going to suck. It's going to be terrible.
Okay, so I thought the first round was nothing. I felt great. I did all 5 unbroken. I did the pistols. In my opinion, the pistols are the hardest part of this workout. That's why I asked if you did the first round, Tyler. If like I'm pretty good at pistols, and like the way that ruck, all the weight's in the back, so you have to lean really hard forward to like balance yourself. It puts everything on that quad head, and it
Burns.
Whoever the best pistol person is that is decent at gymnastics, I think will win. Well, I'm thinking Hopper, but or not Hopper, Adler. Sorry.
I was going to say he's way too heavy for this.
No, not Hopper. I think
I see Noah doing really well in this one.
Yeah,
I think Jake and Noah are going to be one mano y mano.
We'll see. So that the second round.
Well, for how many burpees over box did you get that first round?
16.
16. Okay.
How'd you feel going into round 2?
Second round was world of a difference. It was crazy.
Was that full send 16, or did you know that it was going to hurt?
It was a hard 16. It was I did it like I was going to be in the semifinal. I wanted to do as good as I can. Like I wanted to see if I could beat anybody. Like I'm hoping I can get 59th place in this workout is what I'm hoping for. And we'll see. But man, it was so much different. The ring complex for me was not hard at all on the first round. I was a little bit surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot harder. The second time around, it was harder. The second time I went 3-2.
Yeah.
And then the third time I went 2-2-1. And I only had like 40 seconds on the last round.
But you could do burpees in the last round. Okay.
Yeah. I had 40 seconds. I did 9 burpees on the last one over a 30-inch. Like I had plenty of time. Trust me, it felt like super, super slow, and I still had 40 seconds.
So, do you still? I mean, I said last week there were some women that weren't going to even get to the burpees. Do you change your opinion after doing it?
After hearing what you're saying, I would say no.
I don't know, because it's the reason the women wouldn't get there is because they couldn't do the ring complex, and that would be a tricep burnout where they can't do the dip anymore. And the third round was hard, but I mean, I did it in a minute and 20 seconds. You know what I mean? All 5 of them. And I'm not elite. I'm decent. I'm pretty good at ring muscle ups, but for my fitness level, I'm not what these guys are or these other girls are. So I don't know. I think somebody would have to really send it for the women and like completely blow up for them not to get to the burpees. Mm-hmm. Or just be really bad at the pistols. I mean, you can be really bad at those pistols. They shocked me how hard the pistols were. Like a weight vest would be way different. I've done weight vest pistols before, and they're not that bad. The ruck, I'm telling you, made it hard.
Did you guys see Rich's podcast where we went through the individual workouts? And this one in particular, he's not a fan of the muscle ups with a ruck on. He thinks
it never hit me in the head. That. I was surprised about that. I was expecting that too.
He thinks he got a shoulder injury from doing it one time. So
really,
my first rep, and mine was with a weight vest, not a ruck. But the first rep, like right before the video I took and sent to you all, I went up, did one muscle up, and came down, and it felt like I was like, if I had done that any worse, my shoulder like would have ripped. It felt like, and I was nervous to do all 5.
I had a couple.
That's interesting.
I had several games athletes reach out to me after I posted out on my story of Rich talking about it, saying that they were concerned.
I wonder if it's just like how you kip. Like, you know, certain people just kip a different way, and then maybe it feels differently.
Rich said you have to kip it like a lot, and you kind of really fall forward and put that strain on the front of your shoulder. So
I'm just saying, y'all saw my first 5 on Instagram, and like it didn't feel that bad. So like I'm just surprised.
Mine was the slap down. Mine wasn't the turnover. Mine was like coming down like this, and it's like you hear of slap tears all the time from like chest to
Do
bar
you
and stuff
just
like that.
drop then? You don't like try to swing into it?
Well, I had just got done doing like 40 ring muscle ups in a different workout, and then I was like, well, let me do these real quick since I'm warm. I'm warm. So, but I think I just came down early. But I could see, like, if you're rushing and you want to go into those pistols and you just slap down a little too weird, yeah, that's a lot
I could
more
see
weight.
that.
Like, it's not just 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is just 20 pounds, but yeah,
But not like if on the swing. No, the force of that swing with the 20 pounds is more than 20 pounds of force. Yeah. The torque on it is way worse.
Yeah.
No, I see.
I just hope I'm not writing an article about a bunch of injuries like we had in 2017 with all the pec tears. So
right.
So we think Noah, you think Jake, Tyler. Anybody else you're going to keep an eye on for this one that's maybe not expected?
I agree with Jake Berman. I think Jake Berman's going to win the event. I think Adler will be very good at this event. I also think the Panchiks will be very good at this event.
This is a good Panchik event. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at the up and over from the games on this one, just from a capacity standpoint of muscle ups into the get overs. I think Will Morad struggled a little bit on it. I think Hopper did as well, which was a little surprising. But do we think Roman has improved on his muscle ups enough to not fall down on the leaderboard on this one?
After doing it, I don't think he will struggle at this one.
Just because it's not enough volume?
Yeah. Yep. Because, I mean, I just feel like there's no way Roman's not a good bit better than me. You know what I mean? And I still had 40 seconds at the end of it, and I think he's just fit enough that he obviously he's going to recover a lot better, right? And I just don't think it's enough volume. Yeah. You got to think it's only 15 ring muscle ups.
It is.
Well, yeah, but it's 45 worth of dips plus burpees.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, there will be people better than him. I just don't think he's going to struggle like we saw at Rogue.
Fair.
How about on the women's side?
This is Emma Lawson's event all day. I think Emma Lawson's going to run away with this event. I think Emma Carey is going to be really good too, though.
Yep. Tyler?
B, maybe if she can handle the weight. And then I think a safer pick is Raptus. Sorry, guys.
I'm expecting that for every event. Don't worry.
It's because you picked Lawson, and Lawson's my pick. But just playing devil's advocate for somebody else, I think Alexis Raptus.
Now, this is somebody I would worry about, like Brooke. I think Brooke would be worried about this event as far as like tearing something, just because you are pulling at the joints and stuff.
It's interesting, yeah. Yeah. Do you think the first event will have any impact on their performance of this one?
No.
Even with all that rope pulling?
Dude,
that's all that, bro.
These are CrossFit Games people, man.
Hand over hand.
We don't know, right?
It's one workout.
I mean, it's all concentric, so it shouldn't. But man, that's a lot of blood in that area.
Yeah,
and then you got 2 hours to flesh it out.
I really think the first workout's going to be all on the run. I don't think the pull is going to be anything like it was.
I think the ski, Brian.
I think if it's really close and all the athletes are there at the same time, I just think the run's going to separate them, and you're going to have some coasting in. And it's not going to be too bad, and you'll have a race for a few athletes, especially as you start kind of working your way down the middle of the leaderboard, where it does get bunched up.
Mm-hmm.
So
we forgot to mention James Sprague could win that event too. I think James Sprague
or one.
Event one.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll win, but I mean, I think he'll be in the running. I think him and Adler will finish close to each other, but I'd probably even give him the edge over Adler.
That's a good call. That'll be a good one to kind of get some ground on, because I don't think he'll be the best on this one. So
shoot him down after I built him up. Or the next one.
Yeah.
Or the one after that.
Semifinals, Linda. So the second one we won't get to see live. Starting with the women.
I hate that so much. God.
Yeah, this one would be fun to watch.
This one would be great. I'd love to be able to see somebody fail on the last bench press and dumbbells go bouncing all over the place, having to grab them and watching other people try to pass them. Women's side, who do you got, Tyler? And if you don't say the name I'm expecting, there's one person that is going to win this one.
If Alexis Raptis doesn't win this event, I have my pick. It'll be interesting to see if you're the same one, Brian.
Tyler?
I like Alexis, but I think my second pick is DB. I like her for this workout too.
Oh, I don't at all. That's the worst pick you've made today. That's the worst call you've made today.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay.
You screwed up bad on that one. I think Paige Powers is going to do really good in this event. I think Paige Powers is going to just – I don't know if she'll run away with it, but I think she'll do pretty darn good. Barnhart should do good in this. I think Emma Lawson will do good at this, but I don't think she'll be up with those two.
I think Paige runs away with it.
Yeah,
she killed it in the Miami meat market at Wadapalooza. I mean, the dumbbell bench press, if that's what it comes down to, she will make easy work of it compared to everybody else. I mean, Danielle's back.
Shelby Neal is going to be good at this one too. Y'all just don't know about her.
Another TTT pick that's going to be fun to watch. Ashley Wozni, she can move a barbell all day long, and her pressing strength is crazy. This is only because I've worked out next to her that I am very competent at handstand push-ups, and she makes me feel incompetent as all hell.
Handstand push-ups are not bench press, Tyler.
Dude, it doesn't matter. It does matter, but it still correlates.
It does matter.
But when we talk about Europe, I think it'll matter.
Yeah, well, it'll matter once.
On the men's side, anybody? I think Roman is really strong on this one.
Yeah,
I like big boy squad on this.
I think this is. I think Roman and Jeff will have a battle on this one. I don't know who would win out of that. I'm tempted to say Roman, but I think Roman and Jeff are the top two on this one.
And Roman did win, if I recall correctly, the Miami meat market with the bench press in there. So that was chest to bar pull-ups, bench press, and they finished with the Echo bike, which of course helps him.
He did really good at Linda back in the day in 2018. And he wasn't even that strong then.
Kenneth DeLapp, Ben Davidson. It's a good name.
Where is this coming from?
What?
With what information? I just don't understand where he's getting that information.
I think
from.
He's a big, strong dude.
Ben Davidson's not fit enough, Kenneth. It is about strength to a point, but if everybody can go unbroken, then the fittest person will go unbroken the fastest.
Right.
How many will be able to go unbroken on this?
I don't think anybody will go unbroken, not on the squat cleans, but like on the bench press and the deadlift is what I'm talking about. The squat cleans, somebody might touch and go the first 5 and then single the next 5. The squat cleans are the fitness of the workout. It's basically who can deadlift and bench press unbroken. You take those guys. And then whoever's the fittest out of those guys will squat clean the fastest. That's it.
Yep.
And transition. Yep. So they got to move faster down the floor.
Well, I mean, I'm including that.
Yeah.
I like Jason for this workout. He's big, he's heavy. And then my second pick would be Sam for Chelsea's point right here. He's fit as all hell, but they bench a lot at Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Jason and Sam. It's going to help to be heavy in this workout.
Are you picking them over Roman or Adler, or just picking somebody different?
Yeah, I like both. I like both of them over Roman and Adler. I think Adler's a hell of a bet. Like, I don't know, but I just get the feeling that those two will.
Where
beat
are you
Adler in
getting
this
your
workout.
information, Tyler?
Dude? They're both as fit
Wrong. Way wrong.
as Adler.
Oh my gosh, so wrong.
For this workout,
So
workout, they're both as fit as Adler, and they're both heavier. I like them better for this.
Let's make a bet on it.
Loser has to do
Loser's gotta do
semifinals,
this
Linda.
I'll do
I mean,
that. I'll bet
that's
that
way
every day.
easier for one of us than the other person. So that's an unfair bet.
Well,
I would do pretty good in this field on this workout.
Tyler's Enduroball will kick in by then. So
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. That's true. I think Griffin has a shot to be. I don't think he'll win. I don't think he's fit enough. But
Yeah, I don't think he's fit enough.
he will. Whatever that dude thinks Ben Davidson is, Griffin is more. That's all I'll say.
I think Ben's fitter than Griffin.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Wasn't Ben the last one in?
Still fitter.
Get him, Brian.
Workouts 4 and 5 are run.
You want to do these together?
Snatch. Yeah, 4 and 5. So the 800-meter run on the air runner. So last time we didn't know, it just said run. So it is on an air runner. Max snatch in 6 minutes, and then they'll have 2 minutes of rest, and then 8 185 snatch for the men, 125 for the women, and an 800-meter assault runner run to finish it. Let's do this. Who, if you add those two scores up together, who wins? Who's going to do the best?
God, that's so hard.
Easily. I think Adler easily.
So when I saw the air runner, I got really disappointed in this one. Just to say,
I think Hopper will be up there too.
The bigger and longer you are, without being too heavy, is going to help you on the assault runner. Now,
are we just talking about both of them together, or are we going to do individual one?
I mean, we kind of know the guys who are going to just, Griffin's going to be one of the top guys up there. But I think it's interesting when you add these two together. They're going to be correlated, or are you going to see somebody like, obviously Griffin's probably one that's going to be near the top on the front, near the back on the event 5. Are we going to see it play out that way?
I think you'll definitely you'll have people. There'll be people who are ringers that choose to be a ringer on this, and then there'll be the consistent folks.
What can you choose to be a ringer on? Everybody's
Griffin has one
choice.
Griffin has one choice for these two workouts, and it's to kill the first one and hold.
It doesn't
all
affect
that
that second one at all.
I distree.
How?
He's not going to win the second one, dude. He's not going to win.
I know. But the first one does not affect the second one at all. I
disagree.
I think
he's going to be tired from that 800.
No,
he's not going to run as fast.
One of the 60 fittest people in North America.
His quads are this big around, dude. That's a lot of oxygen.
No, and you're not going to run the 800 hard. It's a warm-up run.
Well, how about this? Does anybody bomb the max snatch?
Is there a minimum? Do we know if there's a min?
We don't know anything.
I guarantee you they don't let them.
James is not going to be good at this one.
I'm saying, does somebody let's say Griffin runs it in 3:45.
Okay, easy breezy pace.
He comes off. I don't know if you have to load it from an empty barbell or if you get to load your first weight.
I bet you get to load your first weight just because you have 2 minutes and 15 seconds. It's not very much.
Yeah.
Right. And walking to the floor at some point to do that. You get what, 3 attempts?
At most. I think you get 2 comfortably and then 3 at the buzzer.
So if you can snatch 300, where are you starting?
275.
That's
Me?
no, I'm saying if you could snatch 300, I mean, do you go that high, John?
So
No
I
way.
if I was doing this event, I feel very, very comfortable with 275. And 300
What's your
is right at my
snatch?
max.
Yeah.
300.
So you feel
and so, like,
comfortable at 275?
I can power it if I have to, Tyler. Does that
Man.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
like,
have no
for-
reference for this workout because I can't snatch that load. Like it's just weird to me.
Yeah, but that's over 90%, right? So go
Yeah.
run
It's
800 meters in it.
90.5%. But so like here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. You want a good number on the first lift. Not a blowout number, but you want a decent number.
You want to
275
open
will
at
beat
90.
it will
Yeah.
beat most people. Right? So like if you know you have a chance to win this event, if you miss that second one, that's gonna be like kind of going for it, right?
So you're saying getting the upper half of the field.
Still beats most people. And like say you missed that first one, you give it another go almost immediately. 5 seconds rest and then you do it again. You miss it again squatting, right? Then just take 10 seconds and power it. If you know you can power snatch it, you're not gonna miss that, right? Like that's like you got a fall safe built in, and your chances are you're not gonna miss it. Like it's, and then 275, and then you load on 290 or 275 smokes it. You load on 295. Wait till the minute mark, hit that. If you smoke 275, you'll hit 295. Now you're top 5, if not top 3, and then you load on 5s and you go for the win. That's how you do the workout.
I don't know.
How often do these guys go for a max
Run.
snatch without their lifters on?
I don't wear my
I forgot
lifters
about the
when I snatch.
lifters.
I don't wear my lifters.
I
for
mean, all the
anything.
good guys don't have to. Most of the good guys don't have to. I don't know. I'm trying to think through who we've seen that like religiously puts them on, and I don't. Noah.
He lifts and lifters all the time.
That's what I'm saying. That he lifts and lifters all the time when he's lifting heavy. He can do it without them, but I mean, it's definitely going to put a strain on him to not. He's not going to do well in this workout comparatively to the field anyway. I think he'll still be in the upper.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. It's just like he's not going to knock the first part out of the park.
No, like Noah's shooting for like 280.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and that's what like
he's
that,
not opening at 275.
No, I'm talking about for
Yeah, you're talking about Griffin.
winners of
you're
the
talking
event.
about Griffin.
Right.
Yeah, that's how you approach the workout.
Yeah. Morad may thread the needle on this one. He has a great snatch.
I think he's the one who'll do well on both. Like if you aggregated both scores, I think he'll be in the top.
This is a good
top
run
4.
for him too. Like this is the right. It's not a sprint, but it's not long distance.
I just don't think he's fit enough, guys. I know he's a soccer player, and I know he's got a 315 posted snatch. When's the last time you've seen him snatch 300? Tell me.
I don't know. He doesn't ever.
Right,
post
you don't
anything,
know.
so.
All you're doing is reading a number on the thing that says he snatched 315. If I told you 315 was 6 years ago, and he's not snatched 300 in 3 years, are you still thinking he's threading the needle? You know, that's what I'm saying. Like the last time we saw Will Morad snatch, he dropped out at like 285 on the snatch ladder at the games in 2021 or something. That's the last time we saw it. Like wasn't even close to 300. And then you think he's a good runner, and he is a good runner. He is a good runner. But you think that because he's a soccer player and he's a good runner that he's going to kill the 800. There's people that are faster than him. They run faster than him.
We're talking about aggregate, though.
I think if you add up both, I think he's one of those guys that can do both very well.
I think
we're not talking about any individual one.
He might be top 8.
No, No,
I think
definitely
8 guys.
higher.
I think 7 guys would be higher than him aggregate.
We'll see.
Write it down, Brian. You need to write down all the things I'm saying because we won't remember they're all true, and then y'all need to know they're true.
I'm just gonna after the podcast tomorrow. I'll just spend all day clipping this.
There's a reason other Brian trusts me because I'm telling you, like this is the stuff that I'm really good at. We'll see. It's gonna be exciting.
Do we think somebody that finishes in the bottom half of event 4 wins event 5, or is the 185, 125 too heavy?
No, yeah, like if the 180, if it was just a run, I think James could do that for sure. But that 185, honestly, it's going to be who can cycle that the fastest, and then the run. And since it's an air runner, I think it's going to be really, really hard. Like if it was on a track, you could see where people are. You could hawk people down. It's really you can't hawk people down because you don't know where they are.
I wonder if they're going to have a screen. I wonder if they're going to have a screen.
It's still not the same as a visual. You know what I mean?
No, but it'll help. But that way, and then also for the fans.
It will 100%.
Instead of somebody just standing next to a judge standing to next and going like this.
If they have that functionality.
You can't run and see that.
I don't know if they have that
functionality. Like how they did with the marathon row. If they had everybody's name like that.
Concept 2's had that built into their
they already had that game.
I don't think your runner has that.
Well, I'm just saying, like something like that would be, nice.
Women. Anything on the women's side? Anybody that you're really looking at?
We'll be watching Brooke on the snatch.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Amanda Barnhart should win. Emma Carey's got a good snatch. I don't see anybody out snatching Amanda Barnhart. I mean, Danielle Brandon, she'll be up there too.
Yeah.
But event 5 will be fun to watch between Danielle Brandon and Brooke Wells because they're both kind of geared for that type of event.
And Sydney.
Yeah. I think Danielle Brandon will probably cycle 120, 135, 125 faster than them.
125. It's 135 for Masters women. It's 125 for the Open women.
That makes sense. Okay. Danielle Brandon's amazing at like power snatching. She's like, if it's in a power, she's very strong toward the squat where she's not as strong. So like, I almost think she'll cycle that a little bit faster than Brooke, but not significant. I think it'd be a battle between them two on test 5. Test 4. I mean, other than maybe Shelby Neal, and we just don't know. But I don't know. Emma Carey's got
what's Paige Powers' max snatch like? Is she a good snatcher? Like I could see her moving the barbell, the second part. I could see her moving that fine. She's tall and she's a little thicker. And I know that she runs a lot. So I think she's solid on that second workout, but I don't know how she is on her max snatch.
No, Brian's just told us Paige Powers is not a good runner, Tyler.
She's not a good runner.
A really, really bad runner.
Okay.
I mean,
I know they run a lot at Mayhem.
I mean, take it for what it's worth. Her CrossFit bio has 195 for her snatch.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm saying there's a lot of girls all around that 200 mark. It's really just who takes the biggest risk and who executes. So it's kind of hard for that test 4. I just assume Amanda Barnhart because she's probably the strongest one.
She definitely has the strongest clean and jerk. So you would assume
she has enough to fall back on. Like if she's breathing at all, she can just brute strength it over her head. So yeah.
Quick off topic: Kenneth DeLapp, is Cam Crockett making it?
No, Kenneth. No. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. I know who Cam Crockett is, but he ain't making it.
No. All right. The last 2 events on Sunday, we did not have these last week when we were talking. The down and back chipper that's got our handstand walk pirouettes. We got some seated legless rope climbs. We got some strict chest to wall handstand push-ups. I'm not sure why we have 500-meter row in there. And then it comes down to, in my opinion, the 20 overhead squats at the end.
Juices up your forearms a little bit for that rope climb.
It'll get your core. It'll get your core before the pirouettes, and then breathing heavy before the pirouettes too.
Just juicing it up a little bit.
The only thing I can think of is that he's hoping that somebody goes hard on a race on that last 500-meter row ahead of the 20
and blows up
squats.
in the 20.
That's the only thing I can think of. That the reason it's in there.
John, you're a good rower, aren't you? Like short distance rower.
Yeah.
What are you pulling in this?
Well, the first one, I'm not pulling anything because it's all about you know what I mean? I'm about to embark on a gymnastics adventure. So I mean like 145.
Okay.
145 to 150. The second one, I think I'm doing the same thing just because I'm scared for the overhead squats. Like if you want to be smart, I don't think you should push that row. I think if somebody wants to push that row, good on you. 20 overhead squats with 185 is a lot.
Serious. I mean, that's over the test of the old CrossFit test of 15 at body weight. That's kind of standard right here. So yeah.
I mean, I can't. If you're unless you're Roman or Jason, like I can't see rowing under 145. Really, I mean maybe 143, but you know what I mean. Like that's. Even then, you're still rowing pretty fast doing that for minimal gain.
This is the one that athletes are practicing definitely this week. They might not be doing the overhead squats, like the total volume overhead squats, but they're practicing the middle like crazy this week.
That and probably just feeling what the overhead squats feel like coming off a row hot. Even if it's just, let's go hard on 500 meters, go faster than the 145, see how you feel fatigued, and then can't, you know.
And you have to think they like those gymnastics are going to take time, right? These guys, you know, probably can recover a heck of a lot better than me. So like in that time, you know, they might recover going out fast. I don't know, but like I wouldn't go faster than 145, and I'm probably even leaning up towards 150.
That first one, there's absolutely no reason to go fast.
None.
No.
None. This is the one where Fakowski rows at a 2-minute pace and wins.
Do you break up the first set of overhead squats?
I don't, but I mean, that's a strength. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty decent at overhead squats. It's one of the, like I like them. I don't think I break it up, but like just to save some shoulders for the 20 strict chest to wall handstand push-ups, maybe.
It's only 20.
And on the, like you're saying though, a lot of this workout's the back end.
Yeah.
Like you gain and lose it there. So it's like maybe it's worth like just take a short 5-second break, but is it worth the snatch? Kind of that's, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth that.
You could see people break it up.
Yeah, I think you'd be better off to just get through it and row a 2-minute row.
Yeah, I think I'd overhead squat unbroken and then roll the first 200 meters at like a
just
2-minute
recover.
pace.
I mean, if you put it down and have to snatch it again, you'd be better off to row even 205. I mean, just literally just coast, right?
Yeah, when you put it like that,
snatch it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's been the talk of like, I played with handstand walk pirouettes this week. It was walk in a 4-foot square, spin a 360, walk out. I had to do those this week. That was, I mean, you can screw those up pretty easy. If you're a good gymnast, they're going to be cake. The seated legless rope climbs, like what is that? How are you going to judge that? What are the standards? Like that's what and I can't remember who was saying it. I think it was JR was like, you need to be practicing the hardest thing you can do this week.
I think this is going to be what the alpaca was supposed to be last year. You start seated, the rope has to be outside of your legs in somewhat of an L sit.
Feet just have to be off the ground.
Yeah.
You want to do the guys or the girls first?
Do the guys, John. You have Cam Crockett.
I think Noah's going to be pretty good at this one. I think he's going to crank through them overhead squats. I mean, if he doesn't get no rep for his depth, I think he's going to be pretty good at this workout. Yeah. Roman's going to be good at this workout. But I just don't know if he'll move the same speed. I could see Roman winning this. It's just hard for me to call him winning this. Does that make sense?
Is he that good enough on the chest to wall handstand push-ups?
He won the Echo Bike handstand push-up workout, or he got second. Will Moore had one.
Yeah, I think Will's going to be very good in this one.
I think this will be a better one for him, but I mean, I just don't think he's fit enough to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see Roman and Hopper compete against each other in this one. Roman should have the advantage just because he's fitter. But Hopper all year long has been working his gymnastics.
Didn't Hopper crush the Rogue Invitational with the handstand push-ups?
He did, yeah. But I mean, the legless rope climbs are more what I'm worried about for him. It's not the handstand push-ups, where I know Roman will dominate those. But that'll just be a fun like big man battle. I could see Jeff winning this. I could see a lot. I could see your favorite guy, your Cornwall. Yeah, I think a lot of guys could win this one.
This one will be a show.
I have no idea. I don't feel for it at all. Yeah, it's an execution workout. So I have no feel for
Noah could do really well at this, I think. He's good at cycling overhead squats. The row, like you said, is not really consequential till the end.
I think Jake Berman would do good on this.
Yeah, Jake can do well. Like this one will be a show. It'll probably be the best, most fun workout to watch it this weekend.
And the women? I guess hold on the men. I am worried about Alex Carone, Alex Vigneault. They both struggled on the handstand chest to wall. So
they'll take a hit on this. That's a great call. I mean, James too. I know James probably out of it by now, but he could not have asked for a worse hand of events. I feel really bad for him because I do think he is top 12 fittest guys. I think if we went through the games and everybody did the games, he would be in the top 12. And he's not going to be in the semifinal.
This is a unique set of programming. It'll be interesting. All right, on the women. Sorry to interrupt.
I don't think anybody's touching Emma Lawson on this. I think Emma Lawson's gonna run. I think Danielle Brandon will be good, but I think Emma Lawson will climb up that rope much faster. I really think she's gonna run away with it. I know Tyler's gonna say Alexis Raptis because she's handstand push-up god, but again, it's only 20.
20 after overhead squats and pirouettes. That's it. Those 20 are going to matter. Especially when you're a woman. Does Emma Carey have any glaring weaknesses? Because I kind of like her for this,
overhead
but I don't know
stability.
How. Yeah.
She's somebody that I could see going for it on the overhead squats and then failing.
Didn't she win the first event at Wadapalooza with all the squatting and the overhead squats at the end?
Was it the first event ring muscle ups and overhead squatting?
Yeah.
She won that because of the ring muscle ups, not because of the overhead squatting.
But she handled those overhead squats well, though.
There was nobody good at Wadapalooza.
For the most part.
I mean, you have a point.
I mean, no, there are good women at Wadapalooza.
There were good, but there weren't top. There weren't top tier women. Yeah. Brooke's gonna be that one. She'll be someone I'll watch, not because of how good I think she will do, but like triage. Like if she comes out of that unscathed, I don't have any doubt that she's going to make it to the games, but that will be a games indicator for me of like, have you worked on
how good
on
she
some
will
stuff
do
this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Barnhart too.
Annika Greer could do really well at this. I don't know.
How good is she with legless rope climbs?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know, and I can't remember.
If she's good at legless rope climbs, Annika could win this one because the rest of the stuff she's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I think this is where the lighter athletes, if they can hang on to those last 20 overhead squats, can really. This is kind of where they can push on it.
Yeah.
I think Ashley. I think it's Ashley LaRue. If I remember right, she's done well in workouts with these types of movements in them.
And
Not
somebody
sure
like
on
Tori Dyson and Fee Sagafi could do real
Oh,
good
you
in this
know,
one too.
yeah, Fee.
Roaring Scott. She's a grid
I don't
athlete.
think
Just
she's fit
screams
enough.
grid stuff. Dude, she's fit. She won the fitness test at Zelos games. The
Mhm.
thrusters and burpees. She's
That's
fit as
cool.
it gets.
Do you think she's going to beat Emma Lawson?
I don't know
There you
about
go.
that, but
That's what I'm
No,
talking
but I
about.
think she's one to
I'm
watch.
talking about people
I'm
that
saying
could beat Emma Lawson.
She could be the
She
one that's
could beat her.
leading into the final heat.
yes.
That's a great point. Yeah, she might have the top time up to. Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
It'll be like a dark horse pick, but I think she could do really, really well. She
Yeah.
also
No.
I
You're
hate
right.
this. I hate
You're right.
this, but I don't think she watches this show. So I met her last year at Syndicate, Roaring, and I was talking to her. No one else knew about her, and I had been kind of like, profiling her. And then I went and talked to her, and she was like, "Yeah, like I jerked.
I've been
jerk."
profiling you.
Well,
The way you said that.
I don't know how friggin'. That was when I was trying to be a writer, I guess.
Go
So
ahead.
anyway,
What did
she was like, "Yeah, I jerked 300 in training." And so I looked it up and I was like, "Holy cow," because that was going to be the limiter for that test. And then she goes out and almost kills herself. So she's crazy enough to go for it. But I felt terrible because I felt like I put her on the spot. Because then Morning Chalk Up made this big post that she was going to win, and it was terrible.
it was terrible.
Good as it gets.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that. That would be a good shirt. Vindicate, get that on a shirt.
Yep.
Is
Travis, he's on it. All right, last workout. Last one. Echo bike for the second time. 3 rounds. Echo bike calories, 20 toes to bar, 60-foot sandbag, bear hug carry. We'll start out with the men's on this one. It has to be Roman,
Getting
right?
tired.
I don't know.
Jason.
I think Adler could shock people in this one because it's not a sprint.
Rich called it for Roman.
No. And Roman probably will win. But this is a case of, do you want to try hard? This is where it could come into play, is what I'm saying. And I think Adler, I don't think the toes to bar will hurt Adler. I think his cycle rate will be faster than Roman's. 15 cals on an echo is not a lot, especially just 3 rounds. I just don't know if Adler's cycle rate can outpace how much Roman's going to beat him on the bike. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because 15 cals, maybe Roman gets off 3 seconds before Adler. Not a lot. You know what I mean? And I think Adler's cycle rate on toes to bar will be faster. And that bag is going to be about the same for them both. You know what I mean? It might be who can just pick up the bag and run instead of getting a little shifty and then picking up the bag. I think I wouldn't be shocked if Adler's this is his kind of statement. When he doesn't win all week and then he wins this one. Because everybody's going to say Roman, and I think Roman should win. I think Hopper should be right there with him too. But I would not be shocked if Adler shocks people on this particular event.
Sprague could do well on this, right? I mean, he's not
the
going to
bag's going to be harder for him.
He's so long. Getting your arms around it if you're him.
Yeah, it's a brute strength thing though, man. It's not and lifting up a bag, it's brute strength. It's not.
How heavy is the bag?
200 for
200. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. But I don't know
he has
if
win
he's
potential.
I don't think he's just picking it up and going. You know what I mean?
Because this is sellout. This is sellout moment of the weekend.
And his toes to bar are going to be longer. I'm thinking 20 toes to bar. Who's going to be that big swing and who's going to do that short swing? You know what I'm saying? Noah's really good at that short
Noah will
swing.
be good, yeah.
Yeah, but he won't grab that bag the same as
he
Roman.
won't, and that's why I didn't say Noah. But I think Adler could do that, and I think Roman's going to be big long swing. I think Hopper's going to be big long swing, and I don't know if one will outpace the other. I just wouldn't be shocked if we have a surprise in that one.
Yeah,
I think Roman will probably win, but I kind of want Adler.
Need to go back to the bike to work event last year and see who got off the toes to bar first, just from their confidence in getting.
Oh, yeah,
getting those off.
Ricky Garrett.
I don't think he'll do it this year. But I think Noah was one of the first ones off. Saxon, I think, was. So do we see anybody that's going to just
Spencer
fall apart, right? Do we have a James Sprague moment where they're in the qualifying spot and this workout just crushes them? Like, is this the type of workout that can happen to that like that?
Is this the kind of workout where you drop the barbell right before the last step? Is that what you're asking?
Where you quit?
I think Tyler Christophel is going to do amazing on this workout. You know what? I think Tyler Christophel is going to be in 14th place, and Jake Berman is going to be in 11th place. And sends it. He gets 3rd place, and Jake Berman gets like 15th, and he's out. Christophel's in.
No, bro.
Boom.
Boom. I think there could be movement in this, just because I think there's gonna be a lot of people that are really close and in the mix. I just don't think it's like last year where Sprague got hit with muscle ups and was it snatches? Just a bad workout for him. I feel like everybody has the ability to do this. It's just grinding it out. And you may
I plan on doing this one too before they do it, but I don't know.
Talk about one I don't want to do.
do.
This workout's my worst nightmare.
Why?
The bike.
I
don't want to bike
15 cows, man. It's not a sprint. They're not going to be able to sprint it.
Do you speak in RPM or wattage?
I can do both.
Well, what kind of RPM are you kicking on that then?
Okay, so I fully expect the higher guys to do more than what I would do on this. But on an Echo, I think I'm going like 90 for 8 cows, and then I'm riding it down to like 65 until I hit 15.
Oh,
so you're doing
35 seconds.
What?
Yeah.
30, 35 seconds.
Yeah. So I'm cranking it up, but not hard. I'm just cranking it up. And then I'm holding that, letting my legs fill up just a little bit, and I'll be at the 8 cow mark. And then when you let it off, but you're still pedaling, it still tallies up. Like, that's the best way to do those little 15 cow segments. And since it's a quick workout, I think you can go that fast. Like, I might be wrong in the second round. It might be more like 80 and then coasting down to 60, right? So,
and that's
what I would try to do.
The third round, you're going to see it. Like, whoever picked the wrong plan, it'll be evident right there.
Yeah.
Well, see,
I think you'll see guys melt down fully in this workout.
I'm hoping we see guys like on the cut line. Like, you could see where everybody's at, right? And like, you get on the bike, the only way you're going to make it is if you just send it and hope you can still do 20 toes to bar unbroken. Like, you're going to see people ahead of you. Yeah, you're going to see people ahead of you, and then you have to make a choice. You have to like
pull a Zach Watts in 2017, where he does the bike and he did the bike 10 seconds before everybody else did, and then got out and did the sandbag and started doing burpees and died. He got passed by many people.
But if you are in a position where you're about to be cut, you have no choice. You have to do it, and then just hope you can.
See if my body can do it.
And then if somebody on the 13th, who's 13th, they see them doing that, what's 12th guy going to do? What's 11th guy going to do?
The only thing I wish on this
guy going to do?
The thing I wish about this was that there were heats of 20, so that if they're within their heats of 10, there's not going to be I guess the last
unfair for the 11th and 12th guy.
Yeah. Right. Because they're, they're going to be fighting for it, but then when you're 9th and 10th, like those guys they know exactly what they have to do.
I agree.
That does suck.
Right.
But sorting should help by that point in the weekend. Well, not really, because you want to be next to people who are good at this workout.
I'm assuming somebody like 9th through 15th are going to be in the mix. Right.
Yeah.
If you're 9th and 10th,
right.
you're going into it saying I have to beat 4.5 minutes, whatever. Right.
This is the first time that I would ever do the top heat, the one you want to watch
before
you do the second heat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that would be crazy.
Yeah. You heats of 20.
Women, anybody that you think is going to crush this one?
This one's a hard one. This is like the gymnastics one with the men for me. I mean, I think Barnhart could be good. I think Paige could be good. I think Alexis could be good in this one. Brandon, Emma, Shelby Neal, I think will be good in this one.
Anybody in the top 15 is going to be good at this one.
I mean, no, there's people who aren't going to be good at this one. Mallory O'Brien won't be good at this one. Ooh, too soon. Annika Greer ain't going to be good at this
Paige.
one. Yeah.
Paige Powers.
I think she'll do good.
Yeah.
It's this one's just like a really hard one for me to call. I don't know who can do the 3 sets of 20 unbroken. I think Emma Carey and Danielle Brandon, those would be my picks. But
I worried about Emma Carey just from the sandbag piece of it. She did struggle at Wadapalooza on the sandbag piece of it.
It's just the carry though.
That's all it was at Wadapalooza. It was that down and back it was like the D-ball carry. And that was like her worst event. We were worried that she may have been hurt or something like that. So
I was talking to JR about Emma Carey earlier. And it's like he was saying how good she was on machines, but I don't understand. Like I've stood next to her in person. She's so small. I don't understand how she's good at a machine.
She's really fit.
Yeah, I guess. I guess you can just overwill it, but like she's like
as good as it gets.
Shoot that down so fast.
I mean, it's like if I'm lining up people and like picking people based on body size, like kind of like you would for a guy, because that's what I think about when I look at this. I'm like, who doesn't suck at toes to bar and who's big? That's this workout. When I look at her, that equation doesn't work. So
I think women are a little different in that fact, though.
Yeah,
because they can't ramp up to 100 the way men can.
Yeah, so the equation is different. Yeah, literally how they get calories.
Just a little bit. It's literally just how much can you hold, and holding is way different than sprinting.
Yeah.
Barnhart should be good at this workout. If she could do 3 sets of 20, she'd be my pick to win. I just don't know if she can do that.
I think she can. Yeah.
All right.
After seeing the last 2 events, I think Amanda, I'd move her up in my rankings just a little bit.
Where did you have her?
Probably like 7th or 8th.
I got her.
I have her at 7th.
I did just think of it though. I think a sleeper on Linda, going back to that, Jack Farlow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll do good. I thought about him too. He's very strong. I just don't know if I just don't think he's fit enough. You know what I mean? Linda, it's a fitness. It's way more fitness than how strong you are.
It is, but I mean, I think he's fit. I think he's fit enough to do that. I mean, I think this feels like a very power-based semifinals with some random skills in there. So
they're hard skills.
They are, but I think he's one of those guys that, I mean, that's why I have him in the breaking into the games this year. Is I think these workouts do line up for him in his skill set.
His best workout at Rogue was heavy grace.
He got
but
like
that
4.
doesn't speak to. It doesn't speak to his ability to. So I'm okay with that being an indicator for this, except for his toes to bar. I don't know what he's like on those. So
he said for Linda.
I was just going back
Linda. Yeah.
But I think these do line up for him though overall.
You know how good he is at bench press?
He can press overhead, so he can do it.
Guys, that doesn't equal that at all. I don't know why you think it does. It does.
I was just listening to Tyler.
It's funny to me how we never really talked about Dallon's name. Never comes up.
I think
Dallon will be good at this. The last test. I don't know if he can do 20 unbroken, but he'll be good too.
I think Dallon's going to be like Adler. He's just going to be consistent, never have a bad workout, cruise in there, easy 5th, 6th place overall. Move on.
What was the other movement at Wadapalooza? It was toes to bar. No, it was chest to bar, I think, and bike.
It was the Miami Meat Market. It was 25 chest to bar, dumbbell bench press, and then finished off with the Echo bike. or assault bike. I guess.
Jason won that.
Yeah,
Over
Dallin for me, like he's almost like the stuff he's going to do good at is the stuff that Roman and Hopper are going to do good at.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he's not as good as them. I think that's why we're not talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
I could see him getting third and everything they get first and second.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, do y'all think you still want to hold to Saxon and Cornway? Because I feel like we said Hopper's name a lot more than their names.
I mean, it's a good point. I'm still sticking with it. I'm still sticking with it.
I hate how much I rode Jason this whole time. Who did I say? Yeah, I never said Saxon. Not one time today.
Not one time. Not one time. And I'm the one who brought up Cornway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
I think there's a lot of home run hitters.
About this.
I think there's a lot of home run hitters in this, just because I think a lot of the workouts are kind of similar. Again, it's the power-based output, and you have a lot of guys
it might not go how we think.
It'll be interesting.
Well, that was what I was thinking. This today, I was like, your all's picks are great, and I think you made a lot more responsible picks as a whole than I did. But it always screws up. That's why this is a game to begin with. Like fantasy, all of that is because it never lines up the way you want it to. Ever. Mm-hmm. Something always happens. Somebody gets hurt. Stuff happens.
Lines up pretty good for me most times. Oh.
I love my weakness is those weird stories that happen, and I want them to happen so bad that I put them in my picks. I'm like, yep, I'm gonna call it.
What did he say? What did he say, Brian? It was terrible. What did he say?
When last
I don't
week?
know. I don't know. In this podcast, he said this is my prediction, and I said that's the worst prediction you've ever made in your life.
Oh, it was one of the girls. Hold on a minute.
What we need to remember this prediction.
Yeah. To go back and rewatch this.
Danielle Brandon for event 3?
Yeah, yes. Linda.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. You picked her to win.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, watch
her win. Can't pick Alexis every time.
So. If she wins.
Yeah, I can't pick her every time.
Cloud 9. Yeah.
Y'all make fun of me.
Yep.
All
right, guys. I appreciate it. Kenneth, you summed it up right. Semis are too stacked, hard to make picks. I mean, I think it's
Hey, the West is going to be even harder. The West is crazy hard.
Heck yeah, Barry. We're going long, almost 2 hours. We're gonna end it though before the full 2 hour mark. So
you got to get ready to go into 7 on show. Yep. It starts in 3 minutes.
That's when the lights on.
Yep. So guys, appreciate it. Semifinals team starts tomorrow afternoon, and then Friday it's full steam ahead with both Africa and North America East. So.
Good luck getting anything done at work this week, guys.
Oh, for Africa, Michelle Bassnett. That's it. Keelan Henry.
That's all I got to say.
Still sticking to it.
We didn't talk about Africa at all.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.